Good morning. My name is Marceli Matczak, and today, together with Anastasia Dorosz from Labyrinth Development, we will introduce to you some new enhancements to our Labyrinth Deception Platform. Our agenda, I would say, is very huge in the subjects, but we will try to make this in really simple and friendly way, so you can benefit from the, I would say, more demo than from only theory here. First, what we are doing in our business, we are delivering threat detection based on deception. It is the technology that we used to find all intruders in the company's networks. It can be IT network or either OT network right now. So we can work on different systems. We can work on Windows, Linux, or even devices. We can imitate and simulate services or applications. You can see the, I would say, the way that we work with this different decoys, lures that we can provide. Some of examples are posted here at this slide. Our architecture is based on two virtual machines. One of them is administration machine that is we called management console, and another is worker virtual machine where we place all decoys and we manage their work. On the next slide, I would tell a little about terminology that we use in our architecture, because we have 4 components of our solution that have specific roles to play here. The first is the CRADAR agent that is deployed on the real hosts and makes the distribution of artifacts, the breadcrumbs, in many places of the network, also on these real hosts. Then we have the points, the real, I would say, the main decoys that simulate or applications or services that are real services from the point of outsider or insider, and they interact with such intruder, keeping him busy. We don't want to intruder to leave us too quickly. So we make him busy to play with prepared interfaces, prepared services that he can try to attack. All of those decoys are hosted on the worker node. That is the machine that runs all of them and can serve to many segments of the network, to many VLANs. And all this information that comes from this, all decoys across all VLANs are sent to the management console, where you can use this for incident analysis and response. And now, again, we come back to the solution architecture that you can see that we can use just a single management console, and we can use many worker nodes. So we have the scalability of our platform built on N+1 worker nodes. So I would say the incident flow goes exactly from the directing attacker to the decoys. Then we get the alerts that are grouped into the management console, and then the security team can take the action based on this information. We have several integrations, and it is one of two main topics today of our meeting. You can see here the integrations with some like EDR from CrowdStrike or FORTIGATE devices on the, I would say, security or even border security side. And on the other hand, we have the integrations that are related to the CM systems and the response systems like QRADAR, SPLUNK, the Hive, and we will talk a little about the, I would say, the most interesting integrations that we have provided in our solution. One of them is the two-way integration with SPLUNK. We have generally we have the ability to integrate with any CM system using syslog. But for SPLUNK and QRADAR, we have also added mechanisms that bring back to us some information from these CM systems. And in case of SPLUNK, we can find some artifacts that we placed with the CRADAR agent earlier in our host area. And if they are used somewhere in the network and it is found out by the CM system like SPLUNK or QRADAR, then you get information to the Labyrinth system as well back. Then we know that something is going on in the network, that someone has stolen the breadcrumbs, is using this, trying at least to use this, and can be identified. So it is the first integration that we can support, I would say, in more advanced way than the typical syslog integration. And another is integration with QRADAR from IBM. And also here using the AP of QRADAR, we can enrich the alerts that are coming from this CM. So you can see here on the alerts tab the information that are returned from QRADAR to Labyrinth system. Yeah, so you have more information, and also Anastasia will probably show us today a little information with QRADAR in action. I have mentioned also integration with CrowdStrike. Here it is connected to the host agent of CrowdStrike that is installed on the real host, and we can interact with this agent and get information from the hosts that were attacked by intruders. And if there is such possibility, we can also isolate this host from other in the network. We have also integration with FortiGate devices from Fortinet. So again, there are mechanisms that allowed to isolate the host in the network that is attacked and or is already mitigated. And we have this information in our system. Yet such situation occurred. Yeah. The second, I would say, main group of enhancements and improvements in our platform are the new point types for OT protection. And we have prepared here decoys based on Siemens Cymatic series for a couple of models. Some are with the web interface, some are without, only with the support for S7CAM and SNMP protocols. And as well, we have prepared some web interfaces simulation for Allen Bradley devices. So in some scope, we can imitate the OT infrastructure and catch some intruders into these decoys. Also, we have support for Modbus protocol. We, of course, use here the Modbus TCP version of this protocol, so going on the Ethernet. And in this, we can simulate the communication based on this protocol, and also detect here and interactions with our decoys based on this class of protocol. We started also support some in IoT environments, and for the beginning we decided for MQTT server imitation. We can make this for two scenarios with the anonymous access or with the authentication. So depending on what kind of services is used by the customer, such scenarios can be prepared. And from smaller things, we have added support for KVM, like OpenStack or Proxmox for the admin virtual machine. But also we have a little improved the alert sidebar in our solution. So we encourage all of you to take time and test for free our solution, so you can play with this and see our friendly interface. We have also two many important mechanisms that we see that are helpful to many big customers, and that has several maybe companies inside the group, or on the other hand, to all of the managed service security providers that would like to use the deception platform for many of its customers. So in this case, we have the multi-tenancy support that we can provide many tenants, and we can also manage these tenants by different level of access roles. And here we have such roles as administrator, security operations, system operations, viewer, and analytics in two types of users. And we have provided a short, I would say, brochure that explains this, all types of roles. You can also find this in our official documentation. So this roles gives us ability to adjust this multi-tenant organization to be governed in the right way by administrators with the right access roles. For what can we use the deception in our network? We can help here with the recognition, early recognition of threats. So we can detect them, we can proactively defense from such threats. We can also make a significant dwell time reduction. So there will be no months for such intruders being inside of our network and doing reconnaissance or even making command and control by botnets, etc., because we can detect this and alert the security operation team, so the action can be taken on that. Any lateral movement attacks or man in the middle are as well here revealed. All of these actions for rapid incident response from the security teams. What are our main advantages when we come to our solution? We have really nice and high interaction imitation, the decoys that can be used. We have also unique universal web point. It's a special technique that we use to imitate any web application, any web interface, devices, etc. So this is very useful and very often used by our customers. Protection layer. We also can customize options for decoys. We can add some vulnerabilities to the decoys made on some real services or applications to make this more attractive. And as I mentioned, we have also this mechanism of multi-tenancy. So we are not only for one site protection, but we can cover really big infrastructures with many sites or many customers. From other things, we don't need any dedicated hardware. Like we use the virtual machines based on VMware, Hyper-V. As I mentioned, for admin console, we can also use KVM, or also we can use Azure Cloud. Our solution is based on imitating of services, not a full OS. So we do not need any additional licenses for the OSs or other applications. We just imitate this as a services in our decoys. And when we come to the reporting, we have the alerts that are grouped. So there is no too many alerts coming about the same actions, but they are grouped and then sent to the dashboard. And the configuration of the solution is simple, I would say, short and very automatized. And you can also will see this during presentation of Anastasia. The main, I would say, business values and that we see that customer also are attracted by are that they have the advanced threat protection. They can deploy this in very simple and low cost. This solution, this imitation infrastructure, is not based in any segment of production network, so there is no impact on the production servers. And because of this all automatization, we can cut operational costs really deep here, and also shorten the automated incident response by the times of detection and response by our or by your security teams. So they are the main values that we see, and we would like to share with you. About our customers, we have some customers that are from different markets. You have the markets that are based on some on government, some on the utility, some of them are on retail, some of them are MSSPs here, or the pharmacy. So we have very, I would say, wide market coverage. And if you would like to come to know more details about some case studies, you can use our QR code that will direct you to the resources tab at our website, and we have provided some case studies there for your information. And from my side, it is all. If you have any questions, you can put them to the chat, and we will answer to them. Now I pass the time to Anastasia, that will show us some live demonstration of the platform.
Thank you for your part. Once again, hello everyone. Marcelo, would you mind stopping sharing the screen so I can share mine? Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I confirm.
Okay, thank you. So I will conduct a demo part of the presentation. All in all, we have some cases that we are going to cover, see how it works, how it's being configured, etc. And the first case is configuring the integration with CROWDSTRIKE. For such reasons, I have my CROWDSTRIKE ready. So, and of course, we need a real host as well. So let's start from configuring. We move to settings, integrations. I have already some data, but it won't work. We see a message about invalid credentials, so let's fix it. First value we need is API host. It depends on the location, on your location, and where is your CrowdStrike is located, where is your API endpoint. Mine is apicrowdstrike.com. Next, we need some client ID and API token. For this, we are going to API clients and keys. Click on add new API client. Let's provide some name. And of course, we need to provide we need to define what we're allowed to do and what's not. For this, I have this table. So let's do actually the same. We need read, write, for alerts. for you can see for detections, and for hosts we need both read and write in order to have an ability to contain, to isolate our host. And next we need host groups for read, firewall management, of course. Let's see, incidents, also real-time response, of course, some spotlight vulnerabilities, and of course event streams. All of this data is needed to enrich our alerts with some additional data that our CrowdStrike has. So everything seems fine. Click on Add. And from here, we can see our client ID, copy right here. We have a secret, which is API token. And from here, we also can see the URLs that we need. It's completely the same as we have it right here. Click on test. We can see that it was successful. We will allow the isolation and of course enable our integration. Click on save. So our integration is configured. We can move to actually testing it. For this reason, I have my virtual machine ready that has a CrowdStrike agent on it. So let's see, move to host management, filter by local API, and it's gonna be this IP address, not this one. Yeah, that's right here. And from now we can see that it is not isolated. It's completely fine. We can see some data with this, some data about this machine. So let's try to perform something from this machine, attack any of the points, and see what would happen. For these reasons, I have my nmap. So let's go to the points list. So let me know if something happens. I will try to fix it. So let's choose an IP address, paste it right here. We will be using intense scan. Click on scan. It has started. Now we have to wait till the results. Never mind the error. It is about our certificates. It's completely normal in our configuration, in our demo configuration. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. As you can see, scan is being performed by this little bar. This machine took so long to process. Let's do it the manual way. This time we won't be doing an intense scan, we'll be just performing some basic one. So we type in and map our IP address, our targets Oh, I can see it's coming. So, okay, well, we don't need to perform it in manual form. And the scan is done. We can see data about our ports. Let's see whether we have something in Labyrinth, and we immediately get an alert. And as you can see, it is much bigger. Let me show you how it normally looks. You see it's much smaller, and using the integration with CrowdStrike, we enrich our alerts, adding some more information, like data about host name, about operational system that attacker is using. And let's also see what is going on with the machine. And we can see that its state has changed. It is contained. And my RDP connection was lost because of this, because the machine was isolated. Frankly, we don't need it, so we can just close. And this is apparently the way our integration with CrowdStrike works. Do you have any questions regarding this part? Okay, if not, let's move to our next case. Let me just make it more convenient for you and for me. So our next case is integration with FORTIGATE. It's kind of similar to the previous one in matters of how it works. We also have an ability to isolate our host depending on the alerts. So let's try to configure it. We go to settings, integrations, one more time, search for FORTIGATE. I will delete all of the data so that we can do it once again. So what do we need for this integration? Of course, it's API host, which is apparently IP address of your FORTIGATE device, also virtual domain. It is kind of similar to multi-tenancy in Labyrinth in terms of having some isolated environments. By default, users have only one virtual domain or VDOM, which is root. So we'll provide this as well. As you can see, this value is not required, but I would prefer to fill in. And last but not least is access token. So I don't have it right now. Let's prepare all of the needed stuff. First of all, I need to reach my my FORTIGATE device. This is the way it looks. So first of all, let's get some info for configuring the integration. We move to user, and no, it's not user. Sorry, yeah, it's system administrators. Click on create new, choose REST API admin, provide some name, some unique names. So let's use the same one we had for our CrowdStrike. Of course, we need administrator profile. Administrator profile defines access permissions, and I'm sorry. And the bare minimum for FORTIGATE, you can see on your screen. So we need some read permissions for enriching the alert, for getting some info the FORTIGATE has, and user device, we need to add write permissions in order to actually give a permission to isolate the host. So I will use this one, add an APK group, click on OK, and we have a API key, provide hotel domain, which is by default root, and of course, first thing we should have provided is API host. Click on test, see that everything is good. Enable host isolation, enable the FORTIGATE integration, click on save. And let's move forward to the testing part. What we are going to do, unfortunately, I do not have access to the devices inside the network behind this FORTIGATE, but I came up with a more smarter and elegant way to show how the integration works. I wrote I'm sorry, yeah, I hope for now it's better. I made font bigger. I wrote a tiny script that apparently works like Nmap, but is not a Nmap. Let's see. It is called, where is it? It is script by, not really like some I don't know, uncommon or unique name. So what do we have to provide? I will use my comments that I used already earlier in order to save some time. Go to the points. Let's use IP as the same IP address we used for CrowdStrike integration. Click enter. I'm sorry, I have to provide password. And we should give it a couple of seconds in order to perform our TCP scan. If you are interested in a script for your testing purposes, I can provide it as well, but don't forget to ask after the demo, after the presentation. It's not really hard or big, but still can be useful in testing some modules. So second part. Let's see whether we have an alert. No, this one is from CrowdStrike. Yeah, I can see it. Oh, yeah, I see. It is the alert that we have from this IP address, but because we are using both those integrations, CrowdStrike and FORTIGATE, we get enrichments in, I would say, 2 times bigger because we are using both systems. But it's fine for us. Let's go to quarantine monitor. And we can see that the address of the attacker was banned, and therefore he can't do anything else. He's isolated from the rest of the network. By default, this isolation lasts for an hour, but you can, I don't know, terminate it earlier by clicking on delete. Thank you for your question. I see it in my dark messages. For now, it is responsive to all of the attacks. I understand your concern, but this is like a first iteration of the integration. Our second step will be like providing ranges depending on the score. For now, we have 2 of them, but we are planning to kind of refactor the alerts top, and this way everything will be, I would say, more convenient for the user. But still, you can use only you can use those integrations only for enrichment or both for enrichment and network isolation. Do you have any other questions or? Okay, thank you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask whenever they arise. It's completely fine. Let's move. And talking about integrations, we will try to use two-side integration with ABM QRADAR. As my colleague said before, there are special type of integrations for ABM QRADAR and let me see, and SPLUNK, which means that they are two-side. We are also using the info those systems have, but in a kind of different way. Labyrinth will be detecting the usage of data from the word list of the usernames, etc. So, and this way, the new alerts will be generated according to the usage of this word list, even outside the Labyrinth network. This way, we are detecting some malicious actions, not on endpoints, but also on your real hosts. So let's proceed. We move to, once again, to the integrations. Let me see, it is also configured, but it doesn't matter for us. We will redo this stuff. What do we need is, once again, API host, which is API of our ABM QRADAR. And kind of common is API token. Let's go to my ABM QRADAR. Great, I need my password, my username, and password. Good, click on login. So, first of all, API host. And second, API token. For this, we go to the admin. Authorized services. And right here, you should click on Add Authorized Service. I won't be adding UKey now because, as you may know, it would take some time for ABM QRADAR to deploy changes. So I will use something that was already created. Let's have this one, for example. It works fine, as you can see. Click on Test. See the success message, click on Save. Of course, it must be enabled. So let's also see whether we have some CRADAR tasks. Once again, CRADAR tasks may also be called breadcrumbs or file-based that are being created on real hosts by using CRADAR agent. CRADAR agent is an agent that actually generates those CRADAR tasks. Fortunately, they are all in pending. So Actually, I think we don't have to wait. Let's do it kind of another way. You may ask, where is this data from? Those credentials for SSH, etc. I will show you. We go to the point list. Let's choose something with SSH. We click on details, and from here we can see absolutely the same credentials. So for a Labyrinth operator, security operator, there are two ways to see which credentials are being in use. One is by going to the city task menu sub-item, and the other one is by looking what a specific point has. So it's fine. I will use this one. Yeah. So what am I going to do? I'm typing SSH user and IP address not of this point, but of my real host machine. I need a password. Let's give it a try. Something is wrong for me as an attacker. And our last try, it doesn't work, but at least we tried. But we are still able to see what was going on. So let's filter. Let's see whether APM QRADAR has data about what we were trying to perform. So let's see. Let's try once again, but this time with real-time streaming. Edit filter. Oh, wrong filter. So NAP and a password. You can see that SSH login failed. You can see the username. So let's see. Labyrinth checks CM systems, ABM QRADAR each 5 minutes, so it's completely fine that we don't see the alert right now. We'll get it a little later. So in order not to waste our time, let's move to the next case, and we will return to these alerts a little later. So we are getting to our new point types, and we will start from performing some actions on Siemens PLC device. Let's use one. We'll go to points list. Of course, filter by type. And let's see, there are more of them. Actually, there are 3 types. S7 300 and S7 1500. So let's use one of them. For my tool will be Nmap once again. Really useful. But this time it will be with a script. Some info and we will be targeting one specific port in order to make it faster. We don't need to scan all of the available ports, so let's try. And we can see info about our point. Let's wait, and we have an alert about our S7 communication connection established. This is apparently what we were trying to do. So my attack was unsuccessful from this point of view. Let's move. Our next case is Modboss banner grabbing attack. For this, I will be using Metasploit. So let's search some modules, something about Modbus. Made a mistake. We are going to perform banner grabbing attack. So let's use this one. We should also set the host we are going to target. In my case, it is going to be I don't know, let it be this one. We'll try. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's wrong point type. It won't work actually. So I'm sorry, my bad. So let's use one of the with proper type and run. Let's see what we have. We got some info about vendor name, some product code, some data. And let's see what's with alerts. And we can see that our attack was detected. We can see what exactly happened, some additional events, service name, alert reason, etc. So let's move. And our next case is interacting with Allen Bradley Ethernet processor. Let's go to the point list. Once again, use the proper type. Ethernet processor. Let's use one of them. Let's see how it looks. From here, you can see a web page where we can get some info, see some configurations, see some statistics. So for now, we were trying to get some info. We are searching for additional info, which is not really good. And for such reasons, I'm sorry, wrong tab. And we can see that it was detected. It is our point, 64.34. So we are even being detected when we are just searching for the info on our point. So that's great. Let's move to the next case, which is Internet of Things protection. As we said before, there are a special point types, which is MQTT brokers. It is a fully fledged MQTT broker, and that allows to publish notification to the topics, subscribe to the topics, etc. And there are two types of MQTT brokers here in the system. First one is MQTT broker with anonymous access state. This means that when connecting to it, publishing notification or subscribing to topic, there is no need to authenticate. And the second one is MQTT broker with authentication, which is a variant of a point type that requires the client to authenticate with username and a password corresponding to it. For our case, it apparently doesn't matter. So let's see both types. Let's use one of them. Let it be something from a VIP HoneyNet. Just because it sounds funny for me. So we will be using a utility for subscribing to the topics, to the old topics. In my case, and also we have to provide a host. Let's see whether it's working. So the process has started. Let's switch to our alerts. We can see one more alert regarding our Ethernet processor discovery. And we can see that there is an alert about MQTT client connection attempt. So we can, so my attack once again was a disaster from a point of being undetected. And apparently that's all from me for now. Marceline, I give a word to you. Thank you so much for your attention. Marceline?
Yes, thank you. I just try to come back to my presentation. Okay, if you have any questions regarding presentation, regarding the features that we have, or any other questions regarding technology or our solution, we invite you to send us in message to the info@labyrinth.tech. You can also visit our labyrinth.tech website for more information. We offer free of charge demo access or also proof of concept installations with assist of our network engineers. So we thank you today for your time and for all what you have spent with us. And we invite you to follow us also on YouTube, where we have a special channel that we add more and more instructional videos or more recordings from our webinars. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your time. So, bye.